And demonstrations across the nation, including right here in LA. Many are picking the video apart piece by piece, asking if that level of force was really necessary.
Take a live look right now. This is the federal building in Los Angeles, downtown. There was a rally set for 6 p.m. tonight. You can see it this hour. Not many people at all. You see somebody there with a sign, a lot of people there with masks. We're going to continue to follow this story right here because there was supposed to be a bigger event happening tonight.
Good evening, everybody. You're watching, excuse me, LA Live News Tonight. You gotta love live television, don't you?
It happens.
I'm Marla Tejas.
And I'm Christine Devine. Thanks so much for joining us.
Say her name. Say her name. Say her name.
In Boyle Heights, roughly 300 people gathered at Mariachi Plaza to denounce that deadly shooting. Renee Nicole Good, that's her name, by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. Speakers expressed grief, anger, and deep concern. They emphasized that an attack on one person is an attack on the entire community.
And now, instead of taking accountability, they're calling Renee a terrorist. Shame!
Those protests showing no signs of stopping either.
Many are uniting to display their disapproval of what happened in Minneapolis. Let's go live to Fox 11's Gina Silva with reaction from both sides of this ICE raid shooting controversy. You're in Mariachi Plaza, if I'm not mistaken. There was quite a crowd behind you earlier.
Yes, there was about 300 people, as you reported just a few seconds ago, and they marched to the federal building, and they're heading back here. Now, as you know, this is a case that has been discussed nationwide. It has outraged many people, what happened in Minneapolis. And if you've been on social media, you cannot escape the conversation.
Shame! Shame! Shame!
The news is gonna say she tried to ram them. She most certainly did not.
That woman didn't deserve to die, bro, and you know it. Them ICE agents know it.
Strong reactions online after a woman identified as 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent during a federal immigration operation in Minneapolis.
You can see the ICE cars start accelerating around her.
People across social media have been dissecting cell phone video of the moments leading up to the shooting.
She backs up to avoid hitting him, which is really weird because ICE said something about how she weaponized her car and was trying to kill them all. Usually I wouldn't back up my car if I was trying to kill everyone.
The shooting has sparked demonstrations nationwide, including this one held in Los Angeles Thursday morning. Meanwhile, there are others who defend the agent's action.
All of this could have been avoided if individuals simply didn't go and obstruct ICE. This isn't hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
She clearly hit him. What was the ICE agent supposed to do? Just let her run over him?
The Department of Homeland Security describes the woman killed as a domestic terrorist who used her vehicle as a weapon. Critics, including LA County Supervisor Janice Hahn, say the cell phone footage contradicts that statement.
Everyone who has seen this video knows that this ICE agent murdered that woman. And it is shameful that Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem is saying that they did this in self-defense.
Renee Nicole Good leaves behind 2 children and a wife. As for the agent who shot and killed her, he's been with the department for 10 years. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio.
So, Gina, we are seeing the protests against what happened with the ICE operation. Are we seeing any kind of vocal movement besides social media in support of ICE?
Not what we reported on today, what we covered today here at Mariachi Plaza. People here are outraged over what happened. And there's, you know, we heard earlier a speaker say if one person's attacked, it's an attack on all of the community. So, no, we have not seen support. I did report from social media, there were some people saying that, look, you know, some of the video may be deceiving. There are different angles, and perhaps you're not looking at the right angle. And so there's debate as to what really happened, you know, leading up to the shooting. But most people that we've interviewed, they're very upset.
All right, Gina, thank you. There was another demonstration. It was set for downtown L.A. in front of the federal building.
That's where we find Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf live there now. Matthew, is there anybody there behind you at all?
Yeah, there's probably about a dozen or so people. I mean, about an hour ago, there were hundreds. They all marched from Mariachi Plaza to here outside the federal building. There were some tense moments, but since then, it's kind of cleared out. If you go and take a look at this video, you can see the crowds out here. I'd estimate probably more than 300 people outside the federal building, many of them holding signs, chanting things against ICE. At one point, we saw they were setting fire to what looked like the American flag, and we saw some punches thrown between groups of protesters. Now, these anti-ICE groups out here are all across the country right now after an ICE agent shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good in Minneapolis. Vice President J.D. Vance and Homeland Security called the deadly shooting justified, arguing the agent was acting in self-defense. But people out here strongly disagree.
Everything that immigration is doing to not only illegal immigrants, immigrants that help our country, what they did to that woman, they murdered her, and they are trying to justify it, and there's no justifying murder of American citizens.
All of these peace police trying to disrupt a protest where we're actually trying to shut some down. People come in here with their opportunist bull, trying to like just get people to come out and parade like that's actually going to stop these deportations.
So there were two distinct groups out here protesting. One that seemed like they were wanting a little bit more violence tonight. Another group that was not wanting to go that route, wanting to be a little more peaceful. Those two groups were clashing after punches were thrown. The main group here, most of the, I'd estimate more than 200 people up and left, and since then we have about a dozen of people that remain outside the federal building. Reporting live tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Are there any signs of federal agents or LAPD? Have there been?
Yeah, we did see LAPD here. They were kind of blocking off the street because the protesters had taken over the street, so they were just kind of making sure that no one got hit by a car. We did see some federal police just kind of guarding the door to the building, but really no clashing between law enforcement and protesters tonight.
Well, we know sometimes people kind of plan and get their, groups in order. Are there any talks of protests this weekend?
Yeah, I know that there's discussions of a protest that's planned on Saturday that I think lots of people are expected for that one. But until that moment, I'm not sure of any other plans.
You got a loud muffler behind you there, Matthew. All right, thank you so much. And we are following this developing news out of Portland, Oregon, where federal agents shot and wounded two people tonight. We have learned that two people shot were inside a car near a hospital. Homeland Security officials say they opened fire when the driver tried to run them over. They also say the passenger has ties to a prostitution ring, that he is in the country illegally from Venezuela.
We turn now to the weather, where it is a bit colder today. You might have noticed there, taking a live look outside tonight. If you were out, you noticed perhaps the wind was whipping as well.
Yeah, meteorologist Star Harvey here now with what's going on with the Santa Anas.
Yes, the Santa Anas, we do have that event whipping across the area, just as we heard Christine and Marla say there. But we are expecting those winds to peak as early as tomorrow and then stretching into our weekend as well, portions of our weekend. So, of course, we do have some alerts in place for high wind warnings, but also a couple of advisories. We'll be breaking those down a little bit later here throughout our show, but wanting to point out the fact that we do also have some colder weather across some of our deserts, the Antelope Valley with the freeze warning in place. Temperatures right now, we got 44 in Malibu, so a lot cooler than what we'll see across areas like Santa Monica, but also Torrance at 55 degrees, 46 up in Diamond Bar, and Pasadena coming in at 47 degrees. Here's a look at our sustained winds right now. We do have them pushing at 13 miles per hour out in the San Bernardino area, also up and through portions of the San Fernando Valley and along some of our coastline. We have our sustained winds moving over the area. Now, we do have some gusts in place, but those again will be bursting here throughout our evening, picking up into tomorrow. We'll be back with a look at that, but also these chilly temperatures, they will be coming to an end. We can expect tonight to be in the 40s across most of the area, but we do have some of our mountains and also our deserts that will creep definitely below that. I'll have more of those details coming up. For now, back to you.
Some scary moments for dozens of passengers on board a Disneyland monorail ride. According to Orange County Fire, the monorail lost power this afternoon, leaving about 60 passengers stuck. Skyfox over the scene around 6:30 tonight. Took about an hour to get everyone to safety. Nobody was hurt.
We're still ahead at 8. Flu cases surging across the nation. An ER doctor joins us in studio to talk about why this flu season is worse, how to tell the difference between the flu and another virus, and when you should head to the hospital.
Plus, the infamous Altadena bear squatting under a house has actually moved out. We'll speak with the homeowner about its eviction. Finally, it took nearly 2 months, but a large black bear living in a crawl space under an Altadena home has finally been evicted. Fox 11's Nick Garcia spoke with a relieved homeowner today.
It was a really big, bad roommate. It was like a house of horrors.
Ken Johnson describes what it's been like having a giant black bear living under his house since the week of Thanksgiving.
My friend called him unbearable. He's been called Bruno.
Now he can call him evicted.
Hey, buddy. You got to go somewhere else, friend.
This week, a team from Lake Tahoe-based nonprofit Bear League lured the bear out using paintball guns.
He's out. Go.
Ken says he won't miss the bear's unneighborly habits.
Was he causing quite a headache for you?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the bumps in the middle of the night and turning over and just all the damage underneath, and I couldn't do anything about it until he was out.
He even tried returning in the middle of the night. That black mat is electrified and gave him a small shock.
It's been a heck of a ride, and I'm glad he's gone. I hope he finds a nice place in the mountains to eat fish, but I have a feeling I'm going to see him again.
See him, but Ken likely won't have to house him again. Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
Well, chances are you or someone you know has had or is currently battling the flu. This flu season is turning out to be twice as bad as last season. The CDC reports so far this season there have been at least 11 million cases, 120,000 hospitalizations, and 5,000 deaths. For more on this, Dr. Michael Daigneault, he's an ER doctor. He joins me now. This is all the talk, unfortunately, flu. I know you're seeing a lot of it in the ER. Why is flu season worse this year than last?
So a few reasons. Number one, there were less cases of flu in the previous years, so there's been less natural immunity going into this. Less people are getting vaccinated this year. According to the CDC data, which looked at retail pharmacies, at this point, compared to last year, there's 2 million less doses being used. So that's a big chunk of vaccines that are going unused. And also, you know, what I'm seeing in the ER is people are coming in very late. Like the ones that are testing positive for flu, especially those that are older or very young, are just waiting too long to come to the ER.
Interesting.
And the third reason, when you have a flu season dominated by H3N2 and the subclade K, which is 90% of those that test positive for flu A, what's happening is it's much more virulent, it's much more contagious. So all those things together, you end up with a perfect storm for why this flu season is worse than last year.
I don't like that forecast. So how can people tell the difference between the flu, COVID, RSV, a bad cold, and why does it matter?
So the good thing is, you know, we're really not seeing much COVID right now because we had like a late summer wave, and so that means we're not really going to see a winter, and we're certainly not seeing a lot of patients testing positive for COVID now. The big differentiation right now is it a cold or is it the flu? And so, as we know, when you say, I feel like a cold is coming on, it's a little bit more insidious, it's slow, it's nasal congestion, sore throat, runny nose. The big difference with the flu is that people will say, I feel like I got hit by a truck. It comes on very abruptly, and there's usually a headache, body aches, and chills and fatigue, and that is how we differentiate between the two. It's not a foolproof system, but those are what you want to look at, like how quickly it comes on, whether it starts suddenly, and whether you also have a headache and body aches. Those are usually the big telltale signs for flu.
Okay, you mentioned that people are coming to you too late in the game. So what are the biggest mistakes people make when treating flu at home, and when should they come to the ER, and can you just treat the flu at home?
So I think that, you know, the big one is, and this is, you know, one of those legends in the ER where people always believe that some fever is okay. And when you let high fever go on too long, especially again if you're elderly or you're very young, or if you have existing heart or lung disease, it stresses your heart, stresses your lung, can lead to severe dehydration, delirium, acute kidney injury, and all those things just compound very quickly. And so by the time you come to the ER, you know, you're already behind the 8 ball. And the second reason is it delays us giving things like Tamiflu, which is an antiviral which can slow viral replication. The third thing is people just don't drink enough fluid. You have to remember, all that coughing you're doing, you're losing a lot of volume. You're losing a lot of hydration. So you have to really make sure you keep up with the fluids. And the fourth thing, you don't want to dismiss breathing problems, especially if you see the very young or the old that are just really struggling to breathe. They feel like they have chest tightness, they have congestion. If you have one of those home pulse oximeters that everybody bought during COVID, that's a really good thing to check. And if that level is consistently dipping below 90%, you got to come to the ER.
Does every case of flu, maybe not every case, majority cases of flu come with a fever?
Yeah, I would say, yes, I think that's a good one to look at. And it's also, it's usually like a high fever, but...
What constitutes a high fever? Because if 98.6 is what you're supposed to be at, is that right?
Right, so again, this is a good time to bring up, you know, there's no such thing as low-grade fever for us in ER. Either it's 100.4 fever or it's not. Okay? And so a lot of people will say, oh, I run cold or I run hotter. Doesn't matter. If it's 100.4 or higher, that's the number we're looking at. So when I'm talking high-grade fever, this patient's with fever of 103, 104. Ooh. So it's pretty high, and you're just burning up, and you're just, you know, you're stressing your heart, you're stressing your lung. If you have existing medical problems, you're getting dehydrated very quickly.
Okay, so sorry, I just got to ask follow-up. Really, the last one is, so if it's under 100.4, that doesn't constitute a fever?
Technically, no. But if you're kind of like flirting with it and it's over 100, and you have to give a fever reducer, it's probably a fever.
All right, really helpful information. Thank you for keeping all of us healthy here at Fox 11, and those watching tonight, Dr. Michael Daigneault. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, Christine, over to you.
Coming up, when the January wildfires hit, communities came together fighting to save what they could from the flames. Hear the heroic story that happened in Altadena next.
Weather is sponsored by My Home Sold.
And so close to the weekend as we're looking ahead here at the weather as we look outside live. Let's go to Star Harvey with the forecast.
Yeah, we saw that view there over the LA basin. I believe it was from Mount Wilson. You could see that camera shaking up there. That's going to be the case here across Santa Monica as well. We do show that shift in our cameras out there. Now, this is because we do have those pretty gusty winds out there. They were kicking up today, but as we do shift those directions out over today and moving into tomorrow, we will see those winds get even higher, especially those gusts with our Santa Ana event moving in and across the area. Now, good news this weather week is that we are mostly dry here across the West Coast, specifically Southern California. Looking good out there. A little bit of a mess across, I'd say, split right down the middle of our country here, over and through portions of the Great Lakes, but also the Midwest, seeping down into the south as well. Bringing you in closer here to the LA area, stretching up through San Luis Obispo, Santa Barbara. We are under dry conditions, not just for this Thursday and through the remainder of this work week, but take a look at our 7-day outlook here. We are trending drier, at least for the next several days. In fact, our biggest issues are going to be our winds. They will continue to be gusty through the first half of our weekend. Here's a look at some of our peak gusts with today's reports up across the Malibu Hills. We had some gusts reported at 51 miles per hour. Montecito up near Santa Barbara, 42 miles per hour. Santa Monica, where we just saw on that camera there, that live camera shifting, we did have gusts reported as high as 22 miles per hour. Now, here's a look at our wind alerts as we do push over into tomorrow. We do have a high wind warning. It is going to be across all of our highlighted orange area there, but also a wind advisory. A lot more of us covered in that wind advisory, but where we do show those beige colors that we're expecting that winds will not be as severe as we'll see across some of our mountains, but also across some of our foothills as well as our passes. Those peak gusts will stretch from tomorrow into our Saturday as well. Now, not only have we been tracking our winds this week, but also our chilly temperatures, especially those overnight lows for some of us. We'll take a look over the next several days. We are expecting our overnight lows to trend warmer. So we will get a couple of more days or a few more days here where we do have our temperatures in the low to mid 40s before we start to see them trending higher than our averages. So that means when we're getting out early in the morning, if we're out late at night, we'll feel a lot better out there. As we take a look at our afternoon highs, we're also seeing a shift in this pattern as well. We do get 2 more days here across the LA Inland Orange County area where our temperatures are in the 60s. So tomorrow into the first half of our weekend. But as we push into Sunday and into next week, our temperatures at some point could get really close to that 80-degree mark. So it is not only going to feel good, but it is also going to be a lot less windy as we approach this weekend. Our temperatures out there right now, we got some chilly ones in place. 29 up in Frazier Park, so sub-freezing. Also sub-freezing over in the Big Bear area, 27 degrees. Palmdale, you're at 35. We do have a freeze warning over your area. I'll be breaking that down coming up in the next few minutes or so here. But for now, back to you, ladies.
All right, still ahead, Governor Gavin Newsom delivers his final State of the State address.
What he had to say about homelessness, the economy, and the Trump administration. Next.
You. Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
But Mr. President, you can't cut off critical food assistance for millions of people. You can't send the military into American cities.
But some might argue this speech sounded more like a warm-up to a presidential campaign. The governor discussed everything from homelessness to the Trump administration.
Fox 11's Susan Harrison tonight has highlights of the governor's speech and one political reporter's take.
With handshakes, hugs, and a big smile, Governor Newsom entered the state capitol for the first time since 2020 to deliver his State of the State.
We've found ways to build the future over and over.
It didn't take long before he put the Trump administration in his crosshairs.
The president believes that might makes right, that the courts are simply speed bumps, not stop signs, that democracy is a nuisance to be circumvented, secret police, businesses being raided, windows smashed, citizens detained, citizens shot.
He called the actions of the president not normal and against democracy, then ticked off the improvements in California, such as those in our schools.
We've seen improved academic achievement in every subject area, at every grade level, in every student group, with greater gains of test scores for Black and Latino kids.
The governor touted homelessness being down year to year, but it's just the first drop since he took office. The budget includes revenue that's $42.3 billion higher than forecast.
Why? Why? Because our economy's growing. Our population's growing. Why? Because of the energy and daring of entrepreneurs that are growing and dominating in the industries of the future.
This very rosy picture of California.
LA Times political reporter Seema Mehta sees the speech as a fairly traditional State of the State, but today might feel more like a presidential campaign warm-up.
To run for president, you have to build, a foundation on your record. And I mean, obviously, regardless of whether he runs for president or not, he wants to, go out with saying that I made the state better.
The governor and the president do agree on one thing: investors should not be buying up property at the expense of home buyers.
That also speaks to sort of the economic populism that I think most people expect to be one of the major themes of the 2028 presidential election, and is a theme of the 2026 gubernatorial election.
Susan Hirasuna, Fox 11 News.
Tonight, some hopeful news for the 22 million Americans who rely on health care subsidies for their insurance. House of Representatives voted 230 to 196 to extend subsidies for 3 years. 17 Republicans joined Democrats in approving this bill. The legislation would provide billions of dollars for people who use the Affordable Care Act for their health insurance and could help lower premiums that spiked dramatically January 1st. Coming up at 9, my interview with Congresswoman Laura Friedman, local congresswoman, on the critical vote and how she thinks it will unfold in the Senate.
What appears to be a family tragedy unfolding in Sylmar. Tonight, police are investigating an attempted murder-suicide.
Possible suicide. Subject is a father. Kara heard 3 gunshots and mother screaming in distress.
A chilling 911 call. Police say the husband was armed with a rifle. He allegedly shot his wife in the bathroom, then took his own life. Their 2 teenage children were in the house when this happened and called 911. Neighbors we talked with were stunned.
They seem to be normal. I'm not used to this, and this is like a nice neighborhood, but he was barely seen. He was always out, in and out. So, and she was always home. So they have kids.
Tonight, the mom is listed in grave condition. The teens are safe with family. The Santa Monica mother formally charged today with murder, accused of killing her 17-month-old daughter. 24-year-old Carmen Anita DeGreg is being held on $2 million bail. The baby was found with critical injuries inside their luxury apartment on Tuesday. Detectives have indicated that a frying pan was used as a weapon. The father of the baby was questioned and released with no charges. If convicted, DeGreg faces 25 years to life in prison.
A Pasadena restaurant and community shop that's been helping people affected by the Eaton fire is a target of a break-in. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez talked to the store's manager, who says it's hard coming the same week as the 1 year since the fire.
Debido
hole like right in here is where it happened.
Nicole Charity explains the break-in this weekend at Pasadena's Neighbors and Friends Cafe, where burglars stole a speaker and retail food.
To be honest, there were things that if somebody really needed it, we would have just given it away to them.
Because aside from selling popular food, they are a resource center, donating what the community gives them, especially after the Eaton fire.
We decided to shut down and be a donation center, and like I said, once we posted it, everybody was dropping off gift cards.
Fox 11 was there last February when neighbors and friends set up the whole thing, including a donation hub with refrigerators and fresh free produce, even shelves with food and toiletries for people affected by the fires. All this even as Nicole's own family lost 2 homes.
They made it out okay, but we lost everything that we had over there, so it's just hard. I remember getting the phone call that my grandmother, my aunt's house burned down, and we're just like, how do we start over for them?
So this weekend's break-in is not only about the stuff taken, or the insurance claim that will most likely raise their rates, even the boarded up window. It's about reopening old wounds.
It's been a year since the fires, and we're all coming to terms with it, and then this happened.
And they have been getting a lot of help from the community. And if you want to show them some love, come on by here off Union Street and show up, buy something, or go to our website at foxla.com. There's a link for fundraisers to help them out. In Pasadena, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
Well, tonight we continue to look back on the January wildfires of 2025 to the Eaton fire.
Flames spread through Altadena. One desperate call for help cut through the smoke, and people answered. Neighbors, strangers, even a former fire chief showed up to help save a family's home.
Fox 11's Haley Winslow shows the remarkable story of one house that was spared, but also the troubles that come with that.
I woke up in panics for months, just waking up, not recognizing where I was, wondering if I was on fire.
The unthinkable realized.
The entire neighborhood is burnt down.
Against impossible odds.
We're just going to try and throw bottled water on it.
A desperate plea.
I'm begging anyone to help. The house that your kids grew up in is about to burn down, and your kids are scared.
If there's somebody out there who's got firefighter experience and they're trying to see what they can do, anything you can do to help. On January 8th, the Eaton fire devastates Altadena. Homes engulfed, hydrants dry, families left in a daze.
You live here?
Yeah, my house right over there.
Is it okay?
It's gone.
I'm so sorry.
Every house is gone. It's completely flattened. Several churches down the street from here, completely flattened. Bank of America is still on fire. We've seen tons of fire hydrants that are out. They're completely dry.
This building was just taking off. My house had started to catch on fire.
I've met 2 people all day who still has a home. One of them, local math teacher Chris Anderson, racing down historic Christmas Tree Lane. I can't imagine the stress level that you're...
Oh my God. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
It's terrifying.
Take me back to that moment.
I was desperate. My wife went to get bottled water. I'm going to meet her down the hill, and we're just going to try and throw bottled water on it. But I don't know if that's going to work.
You need a lot more than that. As the wildfire took off, so did his story.
By the time I came back to the house a little later in the afternoon, there actually were cases of water that people had dropped off. We watered all that hedge completely down with just bottles of water. There were volunteers, people that saw the interview, that just came up and say, hey, we're here to help. My neighbor just to the north had a swimming pool, and so they literally created a line and taking the buckets of water. The former fire chief, he climbed up in the tree. There was a little bit of fire up there, and he literally climbed the tree and put out the fire just with his hand in a glove. So between bottles of water and a bucket and a swimming pool, that's pretty much how we stopped the fire from getting here. Thursday morning was the craziest, so I was by myself, and I ran out of water. And so, you know, the panic starts to kick in again. And I remembered I had just gone to Costco a week before, and I had a case of Gatorade. Now I'm throwing Gatorade on the fire. We just used whatever we had to get the job done. The responses that I receive, people in New York, even as far as like Africa, church group in Florida that was saying prayers for me throughout all of this. We're over here across the ocean, but we're thinking of you. And after things started to settle down, reading through them and seeing what people were saying, it makes you really emotional.
You were literally the only house on the block standing.
Yes.
But with the good came the bad. A year later, the fire still consumes Anderson's life.
Her house was 100% burned down. I mean, there was no foundation left or anything. But she started the permit process, and she will move back into her brand new home before I move into my not destroyed by fire home. I've been in a few times, and it's weird because everything's still in place from last Christmas.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
They clean out the fridge and stuff yet?
No, I was actually told, don't open the fridge.
No
because
way.
Everything's like rotted. And so you open it and the smell will just permeate throughout the entire house.
No way.
I have to turn the alarm off.
Okay. Oh my gosh. That's a dead Christmas tree.
Probably September is when I could walk in and not smell like I was going to a barbecue.
The vulnerable became easy targets.
Someone had filled out a FEMA application in my name somehow, was sending the check to Miami. So the morning of my birthday, I get a call from my insurance company because looters had kicked in my back door. The looters ransacking looking for stuff. They took a jewelry box and then some of my son's collectibles.
Some people would kill to have this still.
I'm going to have that tested before I just hang it back on the walls.
Yeah.
My insurance has been pretty good, but they don't want to go into the walls. And I'm like, how can you not check inside the walls? My house was saturated in smoke for 9 to 12 hours. Saturated. You're going to tell me no smoke went in the walls?
Even basic services became a battle.
And they said, no problem, we'll turn it off. So I noticed one of my credit card bills had gotten a little high, so I went and checked. And I was like, hey, I don't have access to my house. I don't have access to the service. Can I get a refund for what you've been billing me? And the management said, no, our policy is you only can suspend service for 9 months. We're sorry, you can't get your money back. There's still a lot of people in Altadena struggling, just trying to get back to normalcy, and it's not there yet.
Yeah, a lot of people have moved on, but you guys are dealing with this every single day.
I'm not moving on. I'm not moving on. My kids, you know, that's their home, so I'm not moving on. And I'm rebuilding my mom's home, so she's not moving on either.
I have a lot of trauma from covering these fires, Renee. What has this been like for someone who actually lives here?
The hardest thing for me has been the many times where my youngest son has literally just come up in tears and be like, I just want to go home. The physical stuff, it is what it is, right? We can overcome, but I don't think any parent can see their child in pain and not feel it. And it's caused by this fire.
Would you rather have your house just been burned down? Would that have been easier?
It's crazy. It pretty much is easier if your house burned down because then there's no argument, there's no back and forth with insurance. But if your house is still standing, now it's kind of like, oh, well, we can replace this, we're not going to replace that.
What are you doing, Alicia?
Driving around, dropping off waters to all the officers and everybody that's outside.
But through the devastation, unrelenting compassion.
Thank you so much. Stay safe.
There was a lot of love that came out of it.
And a reminder of that humanity right here. How ironic is this? We finished the interview and I looked down and behind this rock, Christmas Tree Lane, is a bottle of water. Save this for next time.
I don't want to have to ever use it again.
In Altadena, Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News.
I'm so glad that Haley went back to profile Chris and see what he's going through. I remember that during a live report during January 8th, 1 year ago, and meeting him through the camera and just, you know, get somebody, please give him water. You know, I mean, the desperation then and everything they've gone through, my goodness.
It's a reminder that this is still a crisis for so many people. You know, I was in Altadena last night, all night with our coverage. You were in the Palisades area. And it's story after story of people struggling in so many different ways. And this is by no means over, nor is our, you know, we're going to continue with our coverage as well.
For sure. And let's remember that the vast majority of people, they're not back home.
Yeah.
They're either living in a rental. I mean, most are. Others have, moved out. But yeah, it's still a lingering issue and will be for some time to come. All right, coming up, we're checking in with meteorologist Star Harvey.
As we head into the remainder of this week, we will have our peak winds gusting as high as 65 miles per hour across into the area. I'll have all of those details, more details also on the warm-up soon to arrive across Southern California after this break.
You'd think with all the rain we've had recently that Big Bear would have powder for days. Instead of snow, Big Bear got rain, leaving the trails bare. The good news is temps have dropped enough for the resort to make man-made snow. There it is right there. It's an improvement, but Big Bear Mountain Resort officials say to expect limited terrain options should you be heading up to go skiing.
All right, meteorologist Star Harvey is now with us here on set. Where we have the winds and then we have a warm-up.
Yes, we do. You know, our winds have been, I'd say, breezy to gusty, streaming from a little bit earlier this week. And I know because I was outdoors with Bryce and I had my hair sticking to my lip gloss. And I'm like, oh, goodness. And
the trauma of that.
Right? And just to think that they're going to get even gustier as we move into tomorrow as well as the start of our weekend. And with the warm-up is going to arrive for us this weekend.
Okay.
And yeah, I think a lot of us are going to appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I don't mind that for a minute. A little break from cold weather.
Yeah, I guess me too. I don't mind the cool temperatures. I think it was just the rain that we got on top of it, right? So we are done with the rain. In fact, for the next several days, our models indicate we are precipitation free across the LA area. But the cool temperatures, they'll be sticking around for some of us for another, I'd say, few days, especially up into our mountains. And then the winds, we did see that shift in our way winds, and it happened earlier today. We had that Santa Ana wind direction breezing in, so from the north to the northeast, and our winds across some of the area with our advisories and our warnings in place. We could see them gust anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour, or in some cases even higher. We do also expect that our conditions will remain sunny and dry out there. We do have a few more of these nights, so where we will continue to be cool out there before we actually start to get above our averages for this time of the year. And then as we move into our weekend, we are still expecting that things will be gusty for portions of it. As we also move into the weekend, Sunday to be exact, that's when we start to see those temperatures out there shifting from our averages in the 60s to some of us hopping into the 70s. LA will be one of those areas. Not the case for today. Today we did have some breezy to gusty conditions across the area. Our temperatures, we managed 63 degrees out there, and it definitely felt like 63 degrees. Our normal is 68. And again, as we do push into our weekend, a lot more of us will see those temperatures above that number. Out there right now, we do have mostly clear skies. Our temperatures at 55 degrees for the downtown LA area, and we do have a calmer wind locally pushing out of the northerly direction at about 6 miles per hour. I do want to talk about this freeze warning. Our freeze warning is going to include portions of the eastern Antelope Valley foothills, but also over into the Ojai Valley. You'll see the green area down here near Palm Springs and 29 Palms. Well, it does go into effect at midnight, and it will carry also in the Santa Ynez valleys. It will carry until tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We're expecting those sub-freezing temperatures could drop below or close to 28 degrees. And then, of course, that does lead to those frost and freeze issues with our vegetation and any of that uncovered plumbing or anything like that. Here's a look at those temperatures, 20s across Frazier Park. There's a look at those temperatures dipping below 28 degrees across the Palmdale area. Big Bear dropping down into the teens for you, not just for tonight, but also for the next day or two. We could see those temperatures in the teens. As far as LA goes tomorrow, 64 degrees. We gradually start to see that warm up as we push into our Sunday. The 70s appear on our map, and then by the time we get to the middle and end of next week, we could see those temperatures approaching the 80-degree mark, and the sunshine will be out there as well. It is going to be a beautiful next week. Just got to get through the winds tomorrow as well as Saturday. Back to you.
Looking forward to the future. Thanks so much. We still have more news ahead at 8.
But first, here's a preview of what's coming up at 9. An update on the story we brought you over the holidays. A man is arrested after he allegedly shot an airsoft gun at Jewish family's home with their Hanukkah decorations on their lawn. We'll have those details. Plus, the lights continue to burn bright at the LA Zoo even after Christmas and the New Year. We'll explain ahead at 9.
San Francisco's Waymo is out with a new robo-taxi. It won't be like the Jaguar cars you see around LA.
It will be something a little boxier. Check it out. Waymo's new van fleet is electric van by Chinese automaker Zeekr. It's named after the SoCal city of Ojai.
Wow.
The e-van was unveiled at CES 2026 and has already been tested in San Diego. Ojai will begin offering rides later this year.
We can all pile in. Room for all of us.
I swear we've seen them around here.
Yeah, they're kind of a different color though.
They're
right?
like a bluish.
Right.
Yeah.
So I thought it was the same thing. Then I saw that color, but yeah, we've seen them. The Waymo shop is like just around the corner, so they test all these cars right around here. We see them all the time. All right, how much would you pay for a flip phone if it was branded by FIFA? Motorola is bringing the FIFA World Cup directly into the hands of fans, players, and creators. Starting in February, FIFA fans can get their hands on the FIFA World Cup Edition Razr. Phone looks different. It uses identical hardware as the regular Razr. Won't be cheap. Will cost about $700. Of course, you can watch the FIFA World Cup right here on Fox, but I understand it's a great collector's item, and you can even brand your photos too.
I remember my flip phone, my Razr phone. And then it was the BlackBerry, and then I didn't want to get rid of that, and you know, we've kind of all been through that.
I think it's one of those things that if you want like collectible items, it's one of those things that would be fun to have. Otherwise, I got my phone here.
That's right.
All right, don't go anywhere. We're not done yet.
LA Live News Tonight continues at 9 o'clock. We'll see you right after the break.
Across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Now at 9, anti-ICE protesters nationwide taking to the streets after a Minneapolis woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent during an immigration crackdown. We're live in downtown LA. And you can hear those whipping winds. They were felt across Southern California tonight, increasing the risk of downed trees and even causing issues on the roads. We're live from the coast to the inland valleys. Meteorologist Star Harvey with a preview of what's on the horizon.
We are expecting that those winds will continue to gust. In fact, peak as early as tomorrow, stretching into portions of our weekend. We'll be talking about how gusty they'll get, but also we have a nice warm up on the way as we head into this weekend. I'll have all of those details plus the 7-day forecast coming up.
Good evening, everybody. You're watching LA Live News tonight at 9 o'clock on this Thursday night. Thanks for being with us. I'm Marla Tejas. We begin with those damaging high winds hitting all over Southern California. How are people handling them? Fox 11's Ed Lascos, he has that. And a survey of the damage out there. He's live in Valencia tonight with more. Let me see, is it windy for you?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Marla. We know that these Santa Ana's dangerous, but they're strange because all day long, all night long, I'm telling you, blowing like crazy here along the 5 near Magic Mountain, Valencia. And then maybe in the last 10 minutes or so, look, Mikey, take us into the story. The Stars and Stripe, that huge flag blowing, stretched out all night long. And now in the last 10 minutes, it actually was flat. And now it's just picking up again. It's almost like somebody hit a switch and these winds turned off miraculously. Now they're picking back up again, but still, through most of the Southland, the Santa Ana's blasting through. Let's get to it. To the video we go, talking about the San Fernando Valley and Van Nuys and the winds blowing through there. Those huge palm trees, look at them. They're dancing in the sky. Plastic containers blowing all over the place. Folks on Ventura Boulevard holding onto their caps as they're walking along. First responders seem to be on high wind alert. LA City Fire here, rushing into reports of a car crash with wires down, a tree down. Not the case, fortunately, but still a car crash that left a few folks injured as they rushed in there. And then you talk about the damaging effect of these Santa Anas. The 5 freeway, the Grapevine, and look at that. That's a big rig down there, an 18-wheeler. Looks like a toy blown over by those Santa Anas right across those lanes of the freeway. Big mess there, hours-long delay, a SIG alert called as they try to right that big rig. And you talk to the professional truck drivers tonight. We've been talking to several of them who've been navigating the Grapevine, and they say, you know, you have the rain, you have the fog, you have the snow, but you know what they're most scared of? The most threatening situation? Yeah, the Santa Ana winds. Listen to Tad, he drives a big rig.
They're scary.
Because they could just take your rig and you lose control?
Especially if you're empty, yeah.
Because then you have just no weight and it just blows you right over.
Yes, sir. Best to pull over and wait for it to go away. You still get blown over just sitting there.
Yeah, it was blowing the car all over the place on the freeway too. And then.
So what are you doing? You're really holding on to that steering wheel?
Yeah, I just try to hold on or slow down or, you know, take it easy, go slow when it's windy.
Pretty heavy this morning. It was pretty cold, like 54 degrees, and it was pretty windy.
And really windy like crazy, huh?
Yeah, very, very much so.
Now you're looking live, and look at that flag again. It's just kind of laying down as we're getting a break from these Santa Anas as they've been blowing through here, but no break from the temperature. Tell you, it's really, really dropping down here. Really getting cold up in Valencia, and as the nice lady was saying, as you hit midnight or so, 1 in the morning, she said she had her heater going full blast. It was that cold. So in any event, meteorologist Star Harvey's been following all of this for us, the cold, and everybody, I guess, tonight, Star, at this point, talking about those Santa Anas, huh?
Yeah, that's right, Ed. You know, and the Santa Anas, they're expecting to peak as early as tomorrow and moving into our weekend. So it will be a good idea if you are out on the roads to watch for those high-profile vehicles, those big rigs, but also the possibility of some downed trees. Here's a look at our winds currently right now, up and through, I'd say, areas where we did see Ed at. Calmer pattern out there in the Valencia area. We do have winds, our sustained winds kicking up a little bit heavier out near the Inland Empire area, so moving across San Bernardino. Now here's a look into those gusts. So we do have some gusts moving right now across San Bernardino, close to 30 miles per hour. Big Bear as well. We got some gusts out there. Our gust across Santa Monica moving at 22 miles per hour and moving also currently across portions of the San Fernando Valley. Now temperature wise, we heard Ed say out there that it is getting chilly out there, and he did see some of the residents talk about how cool temperatures were dropping. building. Well, across some of the area, we do mostly have 40s and 50s on the map. We're at 53 right now in Riverside. Slightly cooler up across Porter Ranch at 48 degrees, and down near Torrance, our temperatures at 55 degrees. Now, here's a look into tonight. With the exception of some of our high deserts where we would see those temperatures drop down into the 20s, but also our mountains like Big Bear dropping down into the teens. The rest of us will be left with our temperatures below our averages for tonight. There's a look at them. It will be in the 40s. For most of us, we may have a 50 pop out here or there down near the Santa Ana area. So if you do have those plans, getting out early tomorrow morning, just make sure that you are bundled up. We do have a freeze warning in place. This is going to be across portions of the Antelope Valley foothills, but also the Ojai Valley. And then that high wind warning and advisory, that's going to cover a lot more of our region. I'll be back with those details and more on your forecast coming up. For now, Marla, back to you.
All right, very good. Thank you so much, Star. On to this scene in Portland, Oregon. Developing news. This is where federal agents shot and wounded 2 people tonight. They were found in a car. That's where they were shot, near a hospital. Homeland Security officials say they opened fire when the driver tried to run them over. They also say the passenger has ties to a prostitution ring and that he is in the country illegally from Venezuela. Now, the Portland shooting comes just a day after a 37-year-old woman was shot and killed by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. Minnesota officials say Renee Good had just dropped her child off at school when she was shot in the head during an immigration enforcement operation. The Department of Homeland Security says she was trying to run over the officers with her SUV.
This was an attack on federal law enforcement. This was an attack on law and order. You have a woman who was trying to obstruct a legitimate law enforcement operation.
Good's ex-husband says she was no activist and never participated in protests. Minnesota officials say the FBI has denied them access to case materials, scene evidence, and interviews. But federal officials say it isn't a state case to investigate and that it was an attack on federal law enforcement. The Trump administration reportedly plans to redirect 100 more Border Patrol officers to Minnesota as protests continue to grow. Let's go live to Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf. He's in downtown L.A. where a few hundred people joined a protest tonight. Matthew, what's happening right now?
Well, Marla, it has calmed down quite a bit from just a couple of hours ago. As you mentioned, we saw probably a couple of 100 protesters. Now we see probably less than 10 outside the federal building in downtown Los Angeles. If you go and take a look at this video, you can see the video from all those protesters outside the federal building. This is just a couple of hours ago. Many of them holding signs, chanting things against ICE. At one point, we saw someone setting fire to the American flag, and we saw some punches even being thrown between groups of protesters. Now, these anti-ICE groups out here and across the country after an ICE agent shot and killed 37-year-old Renee Good in Minneapolis. Vice President J.D. Vance, as you mentioned, and Homeland Security called the deadly shooting justified, arguing the agent was acting in self-defense. People out here, though, strongly disagree.
Everything that immigration is doing to not only illegal immigrants, immigrants that help our country, what they did to that woman, they murdered her, and they are trying to justify it, and there's no justifying murder of American citizens.
All of these peace police trying to disrupt a protest where we're actually trying to shut some down. People come in here with their opportunist bullshit, trying to just get people to come out and parade like that's actually going to stop these deportations.
So one group out here wanted to protest peacefully, the others didn't, and that's when the punches were thrown between the two groups. Since then, the two groups have separated, and we saw those hundreds of people leave here, and it's really dwindled ever since. Reporting live downtown, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
Matthew, any injuries?
There were definitely some injuries. We saw some man bleeding from his face. Nothing significant enough to have people, ambulance or any sort of first responders take action. But we saw, some bruising and some bleeding.
I'm sure when fists are flying, that'll happen. LAPD, I know you said they were there sort of monitoring it, but there was no infighting between law enforcement and the crowd.
Yeah, we've seen some members of the crowd hurling insults at federal police inside the building. We saw LAPD blocking the street for a minute as the street was pretty closed off from the protest itself. But for the most part, no clashes between law enforcement and protesters.
Okay, very good. Matthew, we will check back in with you. Thank you so much. Scary moments for dozens of passengers on board a Disneyland monorail ride. This is breaking news at 6 o'clock on Fox 11. According to Orange County Fire, the monorail lost power this afternoon, left about 60 passengers stuck. Quite the response from emergency crews below. Sky Fox over the scene. This was 6:30 tonight. It took about an hour to get everyone to safety, and no one was hurt. Still ahead at 9, police are on the lookout for a suspect who robbed an ice cream shop in Upland. How he did it, that's next. Plus, an update tonight on the suspect who shot at a family's home in a drive-by during Hanukkah. New at 9, an update on the story we brought you over the holidays. A man has been arrested after police say he shot an airsoft gun at a Jewish family's home with their Hanukkah decorations on their lawn. Police say the family had just got home. When the car drove past, someone yelled anti-Semitic slurs and then fired shots. No one was hurt, no damage reported. Police say 23-year-old Garrett Stater was arrested on charges of terrorizing and making terrorist threats. Police in Upland are asking for your help in finding this man. Take a look. They say he robbed an ice cream shop at gunpoint just a day after Christmas. And we highlighted a knife. It happened about 2 in the afternoon near Foothill Boulevard and Euclid Avenue. Police say the suspect pulled the knife on an employee, demanded money, and ordered her to her knees as he ran off. Anyone with information is asked to call Upland Police. Developing tonight, a Pasadena restaurant and community shop that's been helping people affected by the Eaton fire is the target of a break-in. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez talked to the store's manager, who says it's hard coming the same week as the 1-year somber anniversary of the fire.
They made a hole like right in here is where it happened.
Nicole Charity explains the break-in this weekend at Pasadena's Neighbors and Friends Cafe, where burglars stole a speaker and retail food.
To be honest, there were things that if somebody really needed it, we would have just given it away to them.
Because aside from selling popular food, they are a resource center, donating what the community gives them, especially after the Eaton fire.
We decided to shut down and be a donation center, and like I said, once we posted it, everybody was dropping off gift cards.
Fox 11 was there last February when neighbors and friends set up the whole thing, including a donation hub with refrigerators and fresh free produce, even shelves with food and toiletries for people affected by the fires. All this even as Nicole's own family lost 2 homes.
They made it out okay, but we lost everything that we had over there, so it's just hard. I remember getting the phone call that my grandmother, my aunt's house burned down, and we're just like, how do we start over for that?
So this weekend's break-in is not only about the stuff taken, or insurance claim that will most likely raise their rates, even the boarded-up window. It's about reopening old wounds.
It's been a year since the fires, and we're all coming to terms with it, and then this happened.
And they have been getting a lot of help from the community. And if you want to show them some love, come on by here off Union Street and show up, buy something, or go to our website at foxla.com. There's a link for fundraisers to help them out. In Pasadena, I'm Christina Gonzalez, Fox 11 News.
Weather is sponsored by American Career College.
All right, we're looking live. Ooh, I like this shot a lot. This is from our West LA cam. Looking, of course, that's downtown Los Angeles. Can't tell from the camera here, but it's pretty breezy outside. Let's check in with meteorologist Star Harvey now. Am I right?
Yeah, you know, across the LA basin, slightly calmer winds, but we do have some gusty areas out to, I'd say, the west and east of the downtown area. Still a very gorgeous view, not just because we get to see the city there, but also because we do have those mostly clear skies out there. It is chilly out there, especially across some of our valleys, but also into our mountains and, yes, our deserts as well. Let's go ahead and take a look at this satellite and radar. It is quite messy across the Midwest, but also some soggy conditions moving across our Great Lake area, streaming down into the south there. As for us here on the West Coast, Southern California, we are looking good out there. Dry conditions, a different picture from what we did see moving out of last week and the week before that. Well, here's a look at our 7-day rain outlook across the West Coast here, California to be specific. We are expecting to remain precipitation free. If we had any greens or any of these colors here on our key, that would indicate that we are expecting to see some type of precipitation enter the area. So as of now, things are looking good, at least for the next several days. Now our winds, a little bit of a different story. Here's a look at some of our peak gusts getting through today. We had areas like Malibu Hills get over 50 miles per hour. Montecito up near Santa Barbara did reach 42 miles per hour at some time today. We had Beverly Hills get to about 30 miles per hour with some of those peak gusts, and even closer, Santa Monica, we hit 22 mile per hour gusts today. Here's a look at our wind alerts moving into tomorrow. This is when our advisory levels will be in place. So we do have that wind advisory. You'll see it highlighted here in the beige color. So moving across portions of the area like the Inland Empire down into Irvine, portions of Orange County, up and through Ventura, Oxnard, also up that I-5 corridor through the San Fernando Valley, as well as the Santa Clarita Valley. That high wind warning is going to be across our mountains and will not just be for tomorrow. It will also move over into portions of our weekend as well, where we could see those winds get anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour or even higher at times, which could pose issues to trees or those high profile vehicles like we've seen with some of our accidents on our roadways today. Otherwise, our temperatures have also been a little bit of a nuisance, especially during our overnight lows and into our early morning hours. Well, here's a look at how our temperatures will trend for our lows over the next several days. Now, our normal for this time of the year for the LA area is 49 degrees. You'll see we're trending lower than that for at least tomorrow and moving into the start of our weekend. But as we arrive at Sunday and definitely into the start of next week, we will have a lot less of the area under those really chilly conditions at night and early morning. Here's a look at our our afternoon highs, this is a good look, especially moving into the back half of our weekend where we do get 70s on the map. And by the time we get to the middle of the week next week, we are looking at our temperatures potentially flirting with that 80-degree mark. So it's going to be a good week. We got to get there first. For now, back to you.
All right, Star, thanks. It took almost 2 months, but this big black bear living in a crawl space under an Altadena home has finally been evicted. Fox 11's Nick Garcia spoke with a relieved homeowner today.
It was a really big, bad roommate. It was like a house of horrors.
Ken Johnson describes what it's been like having a giant black bear living under his house since the week of Thanksgiving.
My friend called him unbearable. He's been called Bruno.
Now he can call him evicted.
Hey, buddy. You got to go somewhere else, friend.
This week, a team from Lake Tahoe-based nonprofit Bear League lured the bear out using paintball guns.
He's out. Go.
Ken says he won't miss the bear's unneighborly habits.
Was he causing quite a headache for you?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, the bumps in the middle of the night and turning over and just all the damage underneath, and I couldn't do anything about it until he was out.
He even tried returning in the middle of the night. That black mat is electrified and gave him a small shock.
It's been a heck of a ride, and I'm glad he's gone. I hope he finds a nice place in the mountains to eat fish, but I have a feeling I'm going to see him again.
See him, but Ken likely won't have to house him again. Nick Garcia, Fox 11 News.
All right, Ken, we're happy that he's gone. Hopefully he stays that way, although he's pretty cute. Coming up, Apple will be turning 50 years old this year. How you can get your hands on a piece of that history next. PR Auction House has Steve Jobs' earliest Apple products and personal memorabilia up for auction in honor of the company's 50th anniversary. One of the auction's most prized possessions includes an inaugural check that was issued by Apple Computer Inc. on March 16, 1976, predating the company's founding by 16 days. The $500 Wells Fargo check was signed by Jobs and his Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak. The auction house expects the check to reach a final bidding price of $500,000 or higher. All right, still ahead. Reaction continues to pour in tonight after an ICE agent allegedly shoots and kills a woman in Minneapolis, while police are demanding more be done. Plus, body camera video from Burbank police showing the moments leading up to the shooting death of canine Spike.
Live across SoCal, this is LA Live News Tonight on Fox 11 Plus.
Say her name. Say her name. Say her name.
In Boyle Heights, roughly 300 people gathered at Mariachi Plaza to denounce the deadly shooting of Renee Nicole Good by an ICE agent in Minneapolis. Speakers expressed grief, anger, and deep concern. They emphasized that an attack on one person is an attack on the entire community.
And now, instead of taking accountability, they're calling Renee a terrorist. Shame!
Those protests showing no signs of stopping either. Fox 11's Gina Silva with a reaction from both sides of this ICE raid shooting controversy.
Shame! Shame!
news is gonna say she tried to ram them. She most certainly did not.
That woman didn't deserve to die, bro, and you know it. Them ICE agents know it.
Strong reactions online after a woman identified as 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good was shot and killed by an ICE agent during a federal immigration operation in Minneapolis.
You can see the ICE cars start accelerating around her.
People across social media have been dissecting cell phone video of the moments leading up to the shooting.
She backs up to avoid hitting him, which is really weird because ICE said something about how she weaponized her car and was trying to kill them all. Usually I wouldn't back up my car if I was trying to kill everyone.
The shooting has sparked demonstrations nationwide, including this one held in Los Angeles Thursday morning. Meanwhile, there are others who defend the agent's action.
All of this could have been avoided if individuals simply didn't go and obstruct ICE. This isn't hard. It shouldn't be that hard.
She clearly hit him. What was the ICE agent supposed to do? Just let her run over him?
The Department of Homeland Security describes the woman killed as a domestic terrorist who used her vehicle as a weapon. Critics, including LA County Supervisor Janice Hahn, say the cell phone footage contradicts that statement.
Everyone who has seen this video knows that this ICE agent murdered that woman. And it is shameful that Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem is saying that they did this in self-defense.
Renee Nicole Good leaves behind 2 children and a wife. As for the agent, he has 10 years in the department. Reporting from Boyle Heights, I'm Gina Silva, Fox 11 News.
A Santa Monica mother is charged in the death of her 17-month-old daughter. Police say 24-year-old Carmen Anita DeGreg is being held on $2 million bail after the child was found with critical injuries in their luxury apartment Tuesday. Detectives believe a frying pan was used as a weapon. The father was questioned but released without charges. New video tonight of the moments leading up to the shooting of beloved Burbank canine Spike, who was shot and killed while chasing a suspect in November. Investigators say officers were conducting a stop near the 5 freeway when the passenger ran off and into some dense terrain. Spike was sent in to apprehend him, and that's when shots were fired.
Kill your light and your rifle. Pause.
The suspect was shot and killed by officers. He was identified as 37-year-old Jose Domingo Ayala Alas. According to Burbank PD, Ayala was documented member of the 18th Street Gang with several arrests for weapons-related offenses. Tonight, police in Sylmar are investigating an attempted murder-suicide. Skyfox over the scene this morning where police say a man is dead, a woman critically injured in the shooting. They say all this happened while their 2 teens were inside the home. Fox 11's Haley Winslow reports from Sylmar.
Possible suicide. Subject is a father.
A father and husband, 50-year-old John Bocanegra, carried away from his home in the coroner's van. LAPD says he shot his wife in their bathroom, then turned the gun on himself, all while their kids were home to hear the horror.
Double shooting Sylmar.
Skyfox over the San Fernando Valley house moments after the radio call on Rex Street at 7:15 a.m., where Christmas decorations still welcome guests to the front door. Detectives say their teenagers heard the commotion and called 911, then locked themselves in a bedroom.
Pierre heard 3 gunshots and mother screaming in distress. Pierre's father owns a handgun. That's an unknown location. Heard the father fire the shots in the bathroom.
So when they reached one of the restrooms, they found 2 victims suffering from possible gunshot wounds. One of them appeared to be deceased, and the other one was unresponsive but still breathing.
One of the first officers on scene gave the kid's mom CPR until paramedics arrived and rushed her to Holy Cross Hospital in grave condition. Neighbors who heard the gunshots were stunned to learn it was this family.
Oh, I didn't know it was them. They seem to be normal. I'm not used to this, and this is like a nice neighborhood, but he was barely seen. He was always out, in and out. So, and she was always home. So they have kids.
In Sylmar, Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News.
All right, let's check back in with meteorologist Star Harvey. You were tracking the rain last week. Now we got the winds, and then we have a heat up.
That's right.
Making sure you know it all, Star.
Yeah, I've been keeping my eye on it, and mostly because I am excited as a meteorologist to get a break from the rain. Just as a resident of Southern California, I'm excited to get rid of that rain. Now, we do still have a couple more days here where the chilly conditions will remain in place, but then we do get that beautiful warm up as we push into the weekend. Now, the winds, they've been a nuisance through today, and yes, they will continue to gust through tomorrow as well as our weekend. We are actually expecting our winds to become even higher with the peak arriving into tomorrow. The gusts could get anywhere from 50 to 65 miles per hour, and at some cases even higher than that. The sunshine is here to stay. The dry conditions are here to stay for the next several days. The cool nights, they will remain in place for a few more days, and the gusty conditions again will streamline into portions of our weekend. As we do head into the end of our weekend, Sunday, those winds will become calmer and then also warmer. The temperatures warming Sunday through next week. In fact, by the middle of next week, we could see those temperatures flirting with that 80-degree mark. Not the case for today. You'll see our record temperature did hit 88 degrees. Next week, I do not forecast us getting that high, but a nice 80-degree may be possible. Today we hit 63 degrees. Our normal is 68. By this weekend, we should be closer to that average here across the LA area. LA, we're currently at 50 degrees. We're under mostly clear skies. Winds across the area right now, they are on the calmer side. In addition to those wind advisories and warnings, we also have a freeze warning. This freeze warning is going to include portions of the eastern Antelope Valley foothills, but also portions of the Ojai Valley, and then we also have the Santa Ynez Valley included in this freeze warning. Goes into effect at midnight and will carry till tomorrow morning at the 9 a.m. hour. The reason being is because we could see those sub-freezing temperatures. So temps as low as 28 degrees can be expected, which does lead to some of that frost, but also freezing conditions. So not good for any outdoor vegetation, and also those pipes or plumbing that is uncovered outdoors. Here's a look at those temperatures dipping below that 28-degree mark. Palmdale, as well as Fraser Park, Victorville in the upper 20s. We'll have some teens on the map for our mountains. We're dipping down there across the Big Bear area. As for the rest of us, so we should see our temperatures in or around that 40-degree mark, and some of us in the mid-40s to upper 50s. Here's a look into our wind alerts for tomorrow. High wind warning as well as a wind advisory. Again, those winds across these highlighted areas for some of us could reach anywhere from 50 to 60 miles per hour. Last but not least, our 7-day forecast, 64 degrees for our Friday. As we move into our weekend, LA, 69 for Saturday, even warmer on our Sunday. By the middle of next week, those temperatures once again flirting with that 80-degree mark. Now, here's a look into our mountains, where we didn't see much snowfall with all of that precipitation moving in last week, but we do have sunshine and temperatures getting really low for us tonight. Moving into tomorrow, you will also see a beautiful warm up by the end of your weekend and into the middle parts of next week. Back to you.
But Mr. President, you can't cut off critical food assistance for millions of people. You can't send the military into American cities without justification. And you cannot cruelly and illegally cut off funding for medical research, homeland security, or disaster response.
Developing tonight, Governor Newsom delivering his final State of the State address today, but some might argue the speech sounded more like a warm-up to a presidential campaign. The governor discussed everything from homelessness to the Trump administration. Fox 11's Susan Harrisuna recaps the speech.
With handshakes, hugs, and a big smile, Governor Newsom entered the state capitol for the first time since 2020 to deliver his State of the State.
We've found ways to build the future over and over.
It didn't take long before he put the Trump administration in his crosshairs.
The president believes that might makes right, that the courts are simply speed bumps, not stop signs, that democracy is a nuisance to be circumvented, secret police, businesses being raided, windows smashed, citizens detained, citizens shot.
He called the actions of the president not normal and against democracy, then ticked off the improvements in California, such as those in our schools.
We've seen improved academic achievement in every subject area, at every grade level, in every student group, with greater gains of test scores for Black and Latino kids.
The governor touted homelessness being down year to year, but it's just the first drop since he took office. The budget includes revenue that's $42.3 billion higher than forecast.
Why? Why? Because our economy's growing. Our population's growing. Why? Because of the energy and daring of entrepreneurs that are growing and dominating in the industries of the future.
This very rosy picture of California.
LA Times political reporter Seema Mehta sees the speech as a fairly traditional state of the state, but today might feel more like a presidential campaign warm-up.
To run for president, you have to build, a foundation on your record. And I mean, obviously, regardless of whether he runs for president or not, he wants to, go out with saying that I made the state better.
The governor and the president do agree on one thing: investors should not be buying up property at the expense of home buyers.
That also speaks to sort of the economic populism that I think most people expect to be one of the major themes of the 2028 presidential election, and is a theme of the 2026 gubernatorial election.
Susan Hirosuna, Fox 11 News.
Earlier today, Skyfox over a free Iran demonstration in Woodland Hills. Dozens of Iranian Americans gathered on Topanga Canyon in front of the Topanga Village Mall, calling for fundamental political change in Iran, including a regime change and the establishment of a democratic republic. Southern California has the largest Iranian community outside of Iran. Meantime, anti-government protests are spreading all over Iran, with reports of demonstrations happening in more than 100 cities. As Fox's Trey Yingst reports, the regime has arrested thousands of protesters.
Tonight, internet service was cut off or partially restricted in major Iranian cities, including the capital of Tehran, as leadership there tried to quell growing protests. Further east, Iranian protesters destroyed their country's flag in Iran's second largest city, Mashhad. On the 12th day of ongoing demonstrations, human rights organizations say that protests are now unfolding in more than 111 cities, with no sign of the unrest letting up.
Any kind of support scheme is certainly necessary and essential under these economic conditions. But unfortunately, runaway inflation is far ahead of the support plans.
The government in Tehran passed a bill this week to pay all Iranian households the equivalent of $7 a month, an effort to ease growing tension. At the same time, Iranian security forces continue to round up demonstrators, reportedly arresting more than 2,000 since the protests began. With domestic uncertainty, Iran is reportedly testing air defense systems and keeping its military on high alert, fearing Israeli or American strikes. An Iranian delegation traveled Wednesday to Beirut, Lebanon, the home base of Iran's largest regional proxy, Hezbollah. Hours after Iranian officials arrived, Israel struck new Hezbollah targets, and Iran's foreign minister spoke about the prospect of a broader war.
We are fully prepared for any situation. We don't want war, but we are ready for war. We are also ready for negotiations, but only negotiations that are based off mutual interests and respect.
While Israel also prepares for the possibility of another large war, officials here are continuing meetings about the Trump administration's Gaza peace plan. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.
Still ahead, the Senate signaling unease with the attacks on Venezuela. Coming up, the recently advanced resolution to rein in President Trump. Plus, more than a dozen House Republicans side with Democrats to extend health care subsidies for millions of Americans. Coming up, we'll hear from a local congresswoman about the next vote.
The yeas are 52. The nays are 47. The motion is agreed to.
The Senate advancing a resolution that would limit President Trump's ability to conduct further attacks against Venezuela. Democrats and 5 Republicans voted to advance the War Powers resolution in a 52-47 vote and ensure a later vote for final passage. It has virtually no chance of becoming law because President Trump would have to sign it if it were to pass the House. But it shows some unease among some Republicans over Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro's capture. Meantime, in the House, Congress passing a bill to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies with 17 Republicans joining Democrats in a 230 to 196 vote. The measure aimed at helping millions afford health insurance now heads to the Senate, where a bipartisan compromise is being negotiated. Tonight on the Fox 11 News at 6 o'clock, I spoke to Congresswoman Laura Friedman of California's 30th District, that's Glendale and Pasadena and Burbank, about the vote. No doubt you're ecstatic, I'm sure, about this vote. What does this vote mean at this point? I know it still has to go to the Senate. We'll talk about that. But at this point, what does this mean?
Well, it's a huge victory, not just, I would say, for the Democratic Party in pushing this through, but for the American public, who for the past several months have been making their enormous displeasure heard about the rescinding of the ACA subsidies, which here in California has covered California. People are already stretched thin. They want to make sure that they can afford health care. And unfortunately, the bill that was passed by the Republican administration several months ago really was hitting people in their pocketbooks. And when the renewals came in and people saw their premiums shoot up, they were angry. And they let their representatives know. And because of that, we did see 17 Republicans break ranks with their party to support the Democratic extension to continue these subsidies. And hopefully the Senate will come up with their bipartisan agreement so that we can get money back in the pockets of the people of California so that they can go see the doctor when they need to.
Yeah, this is, you touched on it, the big political shift here. You got 17 Republicans to join. Seems to be an uphill battle, though, in the Senate. What's going on? Take us behind the scenes in terms of the negotiations that are underway right now. We talked about the income limits that many of them want, fraud protections. Take us behind the scenes if you could.
So there's a lot of things they've thrown out on the table, and certainly fraud protections, if they're real fraud protections that will put in more safeguards, I would be all for that. It depends, but the devil's always in the details. What exactly does that mean? Because we already have a lot of FBI agents constantly around the country and local police looking for fraud in our healthcare system. So beyond that, they have, I know in the Senate they're talking about a number of things. I'm not in the Senate. I'm not in those discussions. I can just tell you what I hear from the public over and over again, more than pretty much any other issue since I was elected this last year, is don't take away my health care coverage. I need to be able to go see a doctor. I need to afford my medications. And when they got their renewal letters in the mail for Covered California, people really got sticker shock, and so many of them could no longer afford their premiums. And we've got to act quickly. And we've already gone for a lot of folks beyond the point where they were able to renew. And we know that in every congressional districts, about 650,000 people. In mine, we know that about 42,000 people are at risk of losing coverage right now. So we've got to act quickly so that people don't have their health care interrupted.
We talk about what this will add to the deficit. The Congressional Budget Office says the extension, it's a 3-year extension, would increase the nation's deficit by about $80 billion. This is over a decade. But again, it would also expand coverage for millions. So how do you respond to concerns about the cost and the impact to the deficit?
Well, look, that's easy. The budget that was passed, and I did not support it, blows up the deficit by trillions of dollars, not by billions, but by trillions. And that's because the budget gives huge tax breaks to the wealthiest Americans and the largest corporations. I believe that instead of giving them these tax breaks that they clearly don't need, we should have been supporting working Americans, and that means helping them afford medical treatment. So I am perfectly fine with going back and rescinding some of those giveaways and closing loopholes that wealthy Americans, and I'm talking the richest 1%, and large corporations are getting, so that we can afford to give people the quality of life that they deserve. These are working Americans, Americans with children, seniors, and others who rely on the money that comes through the ACA, through Medicaid and Medi-Cal, and we've got to protect those programs.
All right, well, next up, the vote in the Senate. We'll be watching. In the meantime, we thank you so much, Congresswoman Laura Friedman. Thank you so much for being with me tonight. All right, up next, looking to explore a new Girl Scout cookie option? Oh, yes, I am. There might be one you might want to try. We will reveal this year's new cookie after the break.